Are some of my biggest regrets as an addict, because trust me, there's quite a few. So, to start off with, my biggest one by far is anything and everything I've ever done to my family. Like, because when you are coming off of drugs, your your mind from the dopamine high and low, you get like a really bad attitude. And all the times I just treated my family really crappy and like yelled and screamed at them for things that were probably my fault. Um, all like the family events that I either missed out on or wasn't completely present for, because sometimes even if I was there, I was sick, or I was looking for drugs, or I was sneaking away to go get high, or I was in a hurry to get back, or just something. I just took a lot of that time for granted and missed a lot of it. And by doing so, I missed some of the best years of my daughter growing up. And like I said, even though I was there, I wasn't all the way there. And a lot of the time I was out looking for drugs. And so I physically missed a lot of that time too. And it just really sucks. That is like by far my biggest regret ever. It's all the time that I've missed with my family and all the pain that I've caused them and all the things that I've done to them. And then my another regret is not really wasting so much time on drugs in general, because I used to live this exciting life before I got really bad on drugs. Like when I first started, I was like, I was getting high, but I wasn't to that physical dependent level yet. I was more just doing it because I didn't have my daughter, and I was kind of depressed, and I didn't really care if I lived or died, and I was really just partying. But like I wasn't getting high like you do when you're on heroin and you're physically sick and you need it. I was just getting high just because I wanted to party and have fun, not really because I was in that like state of where I needed to do it to stay well. So I was still having fun with it, and I was traveling around a lot on my own. And I had a lot of fun. I went on a cruise and then became homeless in the same week. Um, I traveled by bus, by train, by plane. I had some really cool experiences, and I had a whole lot of fun, and I could have recorded it. And I didn't know YouTube was a thing, but if I would have been recording the whole time that I was out there living it up, I feel like I would have had really exciting content and got a lot of views. Sorry, it gets really hard to breathe when I talk a lot sometimes. I don't know if it's because of the mass in my brain or if it's something else, but talking, it gets really hard to breathe. But so I do regret not filming all that time that I was out there, like living it up and having a good time and traveling and doing all that. And then I got a lot of times in my life I regret not filming, because it would have been a whole lot more exciting than my life now. Um, Another thing I regret is I could have really been more if I wouldn't have been so focused on drugs. Because, like I said, I was traveling around. I was really pretty. Um, Obviously, I've been through a lot, and I'm like 32 now, so I'm not as pretty as I used to be, but I used to be so pretty, especially when I weighed more. And I feel like I had a lot of connections, I had a lot of friends, I was very outgoing. And, I had a lot of opportunities that I completely passed up. And, I wanted to experience being a playboy. I wanted to go dance at like some of them really big, huge clubs. I wanted to go and like live it up basically. And, like it's really hard for me to get a regular job because my eyes make me look high anyway. And they always have. So finding a job wasn't something I did easily. So I generally went for cash jobs, and I had a lot of really good connections and could have got some really nice jobs making tips, or I could have been more secure. And now I'm not. And now my living situation isn't great. If it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't have anything. I'm currently staying with my mom and my grandma, and there's not really a whole lot of room for me, so the house is really cluttered with everybody's things. I have to stay in the living room and keep my stuff in our dining room that we don't use. And it's just really hard. Not to say I don't love living with my family and spending a lot of missed time with them, but the not having enough space is really hard. But another thing that I regret is kind of letting my family's house go and breaking up my family to where they didn't really care that much about it, because our house is really old. We've lived here for like over 25 years, and a lot of things in it really need fixed up. And I helped mess up some of it by having parties here when I was in high school. And then when our family kind of broke up and I got addicted to drugs and started traveling out, my mom was working constantly. My grandma was old, and it was just really hard to keep up with the house. And now our house needs so much work and we don't have the money for it. But if I would have got something more stable back a long time ago, then maybe I could have helped my family fix their house up, and now I don't have the money. And yeah, so those are some of my regrets. Also, now I've got all kinds of lasting health problems. It's hard to breathe. I have a mass on my brain now. I lost a lot of weight. And, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to go over all my regrets because there's so many of them. But those are probably my main ones. I regret missing all the time with my family. I regret not having money that I probably could have by now and being somebody or something and, having a better life than what I do now. But I messed it up. And I'm so grateful for my family, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know what I would be doing right now. So those are some of my main regrets as an addict.